Hello, Jim.
Hello, Ilona. It's good to see you.
Great to see you too. Well, this is our fourth meeting, and last time we met was a week ago. So do you have anything interesting to share about what you noticed during this week? Something unusual, usual?
I realize that every day, like when I wake up in the morning, before I'm really awake, I'm just there. It's just happening. There's a body laying in the bed and it's waking up. And it's waking up to a story. It's like it takes there's like a small moment of time before you actually are back into the story. It's a really small little window. And then all of a sudden the story comes flooding in. And so this was seen. And then all throughout the day, there are tons of moments where the story is really just not there. But they're quick. They're like little quick moments. And if you're not paying attention to them, you just kind of are lost in the moment. Like, this might sound weird, but so like if you are intimate with someone, you're kissing or you're making love or whatever it is that you're doing, you are lost in that moment. And that phrase, we've heard it our whole lives, you're lost in that moment. You literally are lost in that moment. The you that has the story, that has all these things, it's literally lost in these moments of intense presence. I mean, but sometimes, yeah, you just lose it. And so I've been noticing these moments where it's not a grand thing. It's just, I'm in this earth suit and it has a way of navigating. It has a way of seeing things. And there's a separate sense of self. And that is the part that's been hanging me up, that separate sense of self. That word, that phrase, the imagery that comes to my mind when I hear someone say the separate sense of self, literally was like this, meaning that I am me, you are you. So I have a separate sense of self. That is not what I'm seeing right now. What I'm seeing now is that the separate sense of self has nothing to do with anything else, anyone else. It's just the realization that there is a body here.
Mm-hmm.
So there is, when someone says, well, there is no me. It doesn't literally mean there's no body or that there's no mind or that there's no heart or whatever. It means that that this story of me literally doesn't exist besides in a thought. and that this is all still very real, very tangible, and experiencing everything that's happening. And just that sense of self is just kind of created because of that place of perception. And I think I mentioned that last week actually, but I'm not positive. But it's being seen much more clearly. And I did say last week that it feels like a dream sometimes. I think I might have said this last week too, but I've noticed myself laughing at things very often, like just kind of laughing at like kind of everything, really.
It's
Yeah,
great to notice that during the day there are many moments when there is no thinking, there's just being involved or being fully into some kind of action. Like even if it's like washing dishes or painting or cooking or something that you enjoy doing, playing music or dancing. I mean, there are many of these moments during the day that the self, no self is not even a question, it's not there. So it's not something new or unusual or something extraordinary.
right.
It's very ordinary. It's very natural.
To me, it feels like it's the seeking that is looking for something, always want something new, always want something extraordinary, always want something that's going to blow my mind. It's that seeking and the realization that that seeking it's not being controlled. It's just happening. The seeking is just happening, regardless of anything else. And so there's a part of me that goes, I'm just going to give up on the seeking, and that will be the answer. Once again, that's seeking. It's this, I'm looking for this answer. And that realization that the seeking is just happening is becoming incredibly evident. Like, I don't want to say all the time, but a lot of the time because I'm looking, I'm looking at what is. So when I have those thoughts of seeking, I just say, what is this? Where is it coming from? And the answer is very clear. It's just thought. It's a thought just like any thought. Like, oh, it looks lovely out today.
Okay, but we can look at this seeking is not just any thought. It's like you don't have to thought like table or chair all the time coming up and bugging you.
This is
Like you
true.
don't have table. That's just any thought. You know, it's not charged
This
with
is
energy.
true.
It's not charged with some kind of contraction. So let's not just dismiss that seeking just any thought, because that doesn't really work.
Wait, you said something. You said contraction.
Right.
Did we talk about this? I don't think we did. When you say contraction,
No.
do you literally mean like a tensing up? What do you mean when you say that?
Yes, the tensing up, because seeking is tension, and the tension is that here, me, I'm lacking something that somebody else out there has.
Yes, correct. It's
I
the
need
same
that.
tension. It's the same tension that comes up. I think a better example, instead of like looking at a table or looking at a tree or whatever, it's the same tension that comes up when I'm in a conversation with a person. And in my mind, I think, what can I say? I don't literally do this. I mean, it's just a thought. It's a people pleasing. So any kind of like a habitual or I don't know, whatever, like my personality, this idea of wanting to please somebody, wanting to make sure I say the right words, wanting to make sure that there's a tension there. I'm not being open in that conversation. I'm trying to fulfill something through this conversation instead of just being open to the conversation. And it's similar to that. So it's similar to that. I think.
Okay.
You're right.
So let's look at this seeking as energy, not just a thought like any other. It's not. It's some kind of seeking energy that is playing out unconsciously. Because if seeking was just any thought, you say, okay, I don't care. But it keeps coming up. Because it's just a delivery. The story is just a delivery of a message that there is something deeper that needs to be looked at. And if to dismiss that something deeper is still calling.
I think I understand what you're saying. I feel like what I'm trying to say is that, yes, I am still, I do want to know what is. I do want to
Right.
see what is real. There is this, this is, I'm projecting into the future here, I'll admit this, but there is this thought that says, even if I see, I am still going to seek. There's something, it's like a personality trait where you realize the falseness of your people pleasing or whatever or your narcissism or whatever you have, but you still have to do battle with it every single day. It seems like in order to better take care of yourself. Um, and so to me, I don't mean I literally want to give up on the seeking. It's just a realization. It's really helping to dissolve this idea of a separate self when I see that I don't have control over the seeking. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Okay, so yes, it makes sense. But now let's look at that energy of seeking. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You can close your eyes
Okay.
and feel into this seeking. The other word could be longing or wanting to see what is there. Could be a sense of lack or missing something, whatever word. Just
Mm-hmm.
feel into that. Feel into it. Is it here right now? This longing, let's call it that.
Yeah. It's
And what do
there.
you feel it in the body? What do you feel it in the body?
It's I feel a tension somewhat in my throat and my chest. So basically right in here,
All right.
kind of.
Okay. Great. Okay. Keep your eyes
Here.
closed and just breathe that energy.
Yeah.
Feel that energy. I see you. Here you are. You're allowed. You're allowed to be here. You're valid. I acknowledge you. And you're welcome. And watch that energy. It's completely welcome here. It can be here. I'm invited to show you what he wants to show you. So show me. What is that I'm longing for? And follow that feeling. And what are you noticing?
I noticed that when a thought uh, about it arises, it the thought feels like it's in my throat, which is really weird. It's almost like it's vocalizing through like where it would normally vocalize if I were to speak, but it kind of like is happening like in my throat. But that only happens sometimes. Usually it's not there. Only like when it's a verbal thought in my mind that then it kind of becomes this almost verbal feeling in my throat, which I do not feel like I'm controlling. It's just weird. But the thought that kept coming up was it's like trying to settle, like something is trying to settle this tension, and the thought that settles that tension, the thought that settles that tension is that all of this is just play. All life is playful. Life is playful.
Okay, so say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the message that life is playful. Yes, I agree. I agree. see if there is a message in that seeking energy. Is there anything that it wants you to know? Anything else?
The thoughts are really, really strong right now. They're kind of like, oh, you got to come up with something to say. You got to figure out what you're going to, and I'm like, no, stop, just stop.
Mm-hmm.
And so that then it kind of, okay, comes back to a place of, all right, I'm listening.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, what is your message? How's that energy as if you just talk to a friend? Like, what is your message? What do you want me to know?
Possibly. It feels like what it's wanting to let me know really wants me to see that which is, because that would help me to navigate this life with less suffering.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I
say,
mean, I
okay,
know
thank you.
this.
And say, show me. Show me now. Let's see now. Right now.
There was this laughter that kind of happened in my mind. When the laughter happened, I mean, I felt it in me. It was a thought that was happening, and I found it funny that the thought of this, the thought of the seeing that there's no separate self, that everything is happening here without that. And I kind of laughed about it, and then the thought came, see, you're laughing, so see, there's your separate self laughing at it. And then I just kind of ignored that, and I just went, okay, well, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
Show me, what is that? And it was just so blatantly obvious to me that it was happening. The laughter is happening without the separate self. It's happening because it's funny. It's that opening. It's as simple as opening, of relaxing. I don't know what word to use instead of contrast or
Mm-hmm.
tension.
Mm-hmm.
The word opening, it just seems to be a very accurate word to use. I've been overusing it a lot lately.
There is a lot of opening happening. Is anyone at home? Is anybody there?
Wait, you mean me or in my house? Okay, in here. I almost said my daughter's here.
Yeah, is there anyone there?
Well, yeah. I mean, if I look for it, then it's there really quickly. Yes. I mean, Jim is still, that isn't.
Say, okay, Jim, come out. I want to see you. Are you there?
Well, yeah, he's here.
Yeah? Okay, well, let's say hello to Jim. Hi,
Okay.
Jim.
Hello.
Hello.
Um,
How are you doing?
see, now that's messing with me.
Okay, let's ask that Jim.
How is that? How
Jim.
is it going, Jim? That is a very interesting question after that little exploration that which is happening.
Okay, can you ask that Jim? Say, okay, Jim, what are you?
Do you say, what are you?
Yes, what are you?
He's afraid.
Mm-hmm.
He's afraid.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting that.
Okay, we'll say it's okay, you are safe. You are safe.
Yes. He's afraid of not being or being, committed or, you know, I mean, like, as in losing my mind.
Very good. Well, tell Jim that you cannot disappear.
Oh, he said back very quickly, he's like, oh, yeah, well, who's telling me this?
Uh-huh.
He's like, well, if I'm not the self, then who is? That's what Jim wants to say.
Right.
Like, well, if it's not me, then there's another. That's Jim's logic.
And can you ask Jim, say, what do you want the most? What do you desire?
It seems that Jim's answer would be he wants peace.
Can you ask him, what is anything in the way of peace? Is anything obstructing peace?
He said me. That's a funny answer. Which is that doesn't even make sense. I mean, that seems like a logical thing to say. It's Jim who's in the way of peace, but
Ask him, does he still want to do that?
yeah.
To be in the way of peace?
Oh no. No, he doesn't
No.
want to be in the way. He doesn't want to be in the way, but yet for some reason, there's still this fear. And it's a fear of what others are going to think. What? What in the world?
Okay, can you ask him who precisely? Who is that he's afraid of what they're going to think? Is it one person, two persons? Who's that precisely?
I mean, family comes to mind immediately,
Family.
Not all my family, but a good chunk of them.
Okay. Well, can you say, Jim, I don't know what they're going to think? And can you ask him, does it really matter?
Well, he already knows it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter. He knows that.
So maybe he is ready to relax and to be at peace.
the thought immediately was, is it that simple? Like that was like,
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
why it makes me laugh so much, but it just does. I'm not really,
Mhm.
I don't walk around giggling all the time. But when I dive into this, two things either happen. Either there's an immense amount of tension or there's an immense amount of laughter.
So is he ready to relax?
I mean, the thought is, yeah, he's ready to relax, but he's not going anywhere. I mean, that's the thought that comes. It's like this very gentle. Of course, I'm ready to relax, but I'm not going to go anywhere.
That's fine. You can stay here. But be
Which is
relaxed.
funny because he would actually like to go. So he would like to.
Oh.
He doesn't want to be here. I mean, understandably, in the play, in the playfulness. I mean, I don't mean the play, like I don't mean the literal play. In the playfulness, he knows he's not going anywhere. Probably, I guess. I don't really know, to tell you the truth, but I think that's the thing.
Okay, so let's ask him this. Say, okay, Jim, what were you before you took the shape and form? What were you before you took a form of Jim?
First thought is I was a different form of Jim. And what I mean by that is that it's obvious that every single moment this Jim character changes. That's very obvious. And it's just truth. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so
And what
you
was he
mean,
before even that?
yeah,
What
before
was he
even
before
that,
even that? Before any form of Jim?
I suppose he wasn't there yet. I was a baby. There was this baby, and slowly the Jim character started to be formed.
So what was it before Jim started to form? What was it like?
Well, I suppose it just was. I mean, it was probably like a flow state. It was like, yeah, just like a perpetual being, until the
And
identity starts forming.
And can you ask this Jim, would he like to go back to just being? Like return to just being, return to this natural beingness.
I think he said, hell yes.
Yeah, hell yes. Okay, great. Well, say thank you so much. Thank you so much. I agree. And full permission to go back to natural beingness. And see if you're ready right now. You ready right now?
I'm trying to not really react to these thoughts that are happening, but it was almost like Jim was saying, what do you mean am I ready to go back to what it was like? It's already what it was like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and then the next line was funny. And you know this.
Yes.
And I was like, who knows it? I mean, but I mean that was it. That Jim's response was, well, I mean, it's already happening.
Right.
The more I open, the more I see. To die is to gain. That's a Bible verse. Actually, it's to live as Christ and to die is gain.
But what is there that dies?
Well, to live is Christ. So we could take Christ as the persona of meaning, energy, meaning existence, awareness, the ever-present this. And to die is to die to yourself, to die to allow this character to dissolve so that you can live in this. See, now I know a lot about the Bible, and for some reason right now that verse pops in my head and I see so much truth in the statement. That to die to yourself is to truly live in what is. It's so obvious.
Okay, nice clue. But then what is that dies?
Well, I think it's the identification, but I don't know. Well, Jim.
Okay, let's do a little playful exercise.
Is it true?
Okay?
I don't know. That's what it feels like.
Let's play something, okay?
Okay.
Just for a little bit. So if you close your eyes and imagine that you are holding an apple in your hand, just like extend your hand and hold an apple.
Okay.
Yeah? Can you imagine it vividly, as vividly as you can? Like color, size, shape, texture, temperature, weight. You can even smell it. Can you see an apple in your hand?
This is the practice that I do actually, and I struggle with some of my visualization. So I see it. It's fleeting, but yes, I can see it. Okay,
and what kind of apple is that?
It's a red, delicious apple, which is funny because I'd rather have it be a honeydew or a honey, not a honeydew, a honey crisp.
Okay, so let's look at this apple.
Yes, it's red. It's firm.
And if I ask you to get rid of the apple, what do you do? How do you get rid of the apple?
Well, it's just gone. It's gone.
So what happened to it? Did it die? Got destroyed? What happened to the apple?
Well, no, I didn't die.
Oh,
Didn't
good.
do anything like that. Those are all just words to kind of point, right?
Hmm? So what happened to the apple?
The apple never existed.
And can you bring it back now again? Can you bring it back?
Yeah, I can bring it back. Sure.
Yeah. Is it born again?
Glory.
And now if you could open your eyes and look
Yes.
at your hand, was the apple ever there?
No.
So that apple that was here just for a few seconds, it was mind-created image. Like we didn't invest a lot of time. We didn't sit here half a day or half a year imagining that apple as if that was real. And the way for it to disappear or stop existing is just you stop imagining it. Stop pouring energy into it. So how is Jim different from this apple?
It's been around a lot longer.
Okay, yes.
That's one.
Uh-huh. It even talks back. We didn't talk to the apple, but
We could have made it a talking apple.
yes, next time.
Hmm.
And maybe that apple
Well,
could tell us, how he's worried about what the, strawberries think of him.
right, right. This is true. Or all these new breeds of apple that are coming up all over the place. But yeah, the difference is that the story of the apple is a quick image, like you said. We've just been sitting here momentarily. And Jim is a character that I have bought into, I have invested into. Everybody that I know, anyone I've ever talked to, has reinforced this. Everybody.
Yes. It's not a very popular opinion to question the existence of that character. It's like, why would you want to destroy it or kill it or make it disappear or stop existing? It feels like it. That's that fear comes up. Like, it's going to stop existing.
Yeah, but it is seen that wouldn't, obviously it doesn't happen. Existing still occurs. I don't die. Nothing happens to Jim when I'm caught in the flow state of a moment. There's nothing threatening there. I mean, sometimes when I'm painting, I'm lost in it. Yeah. And there's no threat. There's no threat in that.
So can you see how mind created an image? And then
Yes.
protected it from being found out that it's just an image. It's not what you are. It's not you. It's not even yours.
Yes.
It's just a mind's creation. Thought after thought after thought, feeling after feeling. And here it is. Personality. A character.
Interestingly enough, when you said personality, I think Jim even stole that idea and said that the personality was him. The personality really isn't him. Personality is what happens to the brain when it's in development for the first 5 years of its life, and it figures out this is how you have to navigate the world, and so it does that, and it sticks these things in the mind, and the mind's going to navigate the world this way, regardless of Jim or not.
Right.
And I've always thought of my personality as part of my personality, part of me, part of Jim. But in all honesty, it's really just brain stuff too. I mean, it's real. It's there. There is a way that the brain is navigating things because of how it's been taught.
But okay, if we look at this character Jim, did he chose what skills, what talents, what likes, what dislikes he has? Like, was it like going through the list and saying, okay, I'm going to be a painter. I like to paint. I'm going to be a painter.
No, but it feels like it. That's the difference. So no, none of it is from Jim. Jim just, it's just this, because of this place of perspective that is witnessed, is seen. It's just a natural, it's just this thing that forms in the head that says, this is me.
Is the story coming from Jim or about Jim? Like, what's prime, Jim or the story?
The story.
Right. So there's a story about Jim as a character, as a person. But it's the story that brings in Jim. It's not Jim that creates a story about Jim.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. It's like I constantly don't look at it that way. We look at it. We look at it as Jim's story, Jim's whatever, Jim's this and Jim's that. But really, it's silly. It's like this. There's like this thing, and it's just saying, "Oh yeah, it's me."
Okay, if we replace word Jim with the word Batman. You know Batman?
Batman?
Yes, Batman.
All right.
Yay. So is Batman in charge what happens in the story about Batman?
Well, no.
Does he even know that there is a story about Batman?
No. No.
So does it matter to Batman what happens in the story?
No.
Why?
Because Batman doesn't exist. It's just a story.
Right. So if we come back to Jim, how is that different?
There's no difference except that years and years of conditioning and an entire society that backs up the story of Jim and would still look at the story of Batman and say that one's not real. But this one is, because look at me. This is Jim. This is Sarah. This is Billy. And so the story of Jim is incredibly reinforced everywhere I look.
As it's told from the first perspective.
No,
in
not
the
always.
head.
Sometimes.
Me, I. You don't think, oh, Jim did this or Jim wants that.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do think that. Yeah, sometimes I do, but
Funny.
I do. I actually,
Okay.
it's kind of a joke. My friends are like, "You talking to third person a lot?" Because I do sometimes.
All right.
I'll go, and especially when I'm teaching. When I'm teaching, I will say, I'll use my name. You know, Mr. J is what I'll say. Mr. J wants everybody to do this. Mr. J wants, and I'm just like, why do I don't know why I do that, but it kind of makes me laugh because maybe I'm just trying to get their attention. I don't know by doing that, but I do use my name third person often. Not often, daily, definitely.
Hmm.
I don't know why.
Hmm.
It's just something Jim does. I don't know.
Right.
But you know what? Now that I think about it, that in and of itself is reinforcing the story of Jim.
Right. Jim needs the story to survive.
See, and
If there
so
is no story about Jim,
but see,
he
Jim
doesn't
thought
exist.
that, but see, what this is thinking, I can't even talk. What the thought is that if I speak in the third person, if I address Jim as a separate entity, it shows me that he really doesn't exist. But in all honesty, it almost reinforces the idea that Jim is a separate entity, that Jim has thought, that Jim has this and Jim has that. But the truth is that Jim doesn't have any of that. Like you said, it's purely a story, no different than the Batman story.
Ta-da!
Except Jim's not a crime fighter. But, you know. Hmm.
Okay, so I'll leave you here today with this, and then we meet next week.
These things go faster every time. I want you to know that. Like the first
Yes,
one
they
seemed like
do.
it was forever. Then the second one seemed like it was kind of long. And then the last week seemed really short. And this one was like, all right, so go ahead. Sorry.
So for this week, explore how this narrative about Jim happens from the first perspective, from the third perspective. And notice that there is a story about me, about Jim, about others, about family. There is always a story about. Like the mind narrates the stories about.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's something fun to explore.
I want you to know something. I do not feel any tension right now. Either does Jim.
And next
Just
week
being
we'll see if
silly.
there is a ghost in the machine called Jim, or theoretically there is nobody there.
Possibly. I don't know.
So till next time, see you next
Thank
week.
you.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you need some help with the exploration, you can come to Liberation Unleashed Forum and contact some guides that do that free of charge on the forum in writing. And some of the guides also do video guiding, just like we did here with Jim. So feel free to use this opportunity. Or if you like to work with me, feel free to send me a message and we can arrange time for a session. See you next week. Bye for now.